And I'm going to turn this over to Dave Dart here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a quick second here for those of you who might be new to this particular web-based system or on the call to kind of let you know how things are going to go. First of all, everyone who was registered for this webinar should have received a copy, PDF copy of the slides that Dave is going to share with us today. They were sent to the email address that you gave us when you registered. So if you haven't seen them as yet, you might want to do a quick check of your spam folder. Sometimes they win their way in there, but hopefully you got it. If you didn't, just go ahead and put a little note in there to the staff that you see over here to the right on the Citrix sort of dashboard there. Just type in and just say, Kim, I need another copy of the slides, and give us your email address, and Kim Keeley, who's on the call with us today, will be happy to send you another copy. Obviously, we're going to keep everybody on mute during the course of Dave's remarks, but he has left ample time for Q&A at the conclusion of the program, and we certainly want to encourage you to participate in that. One of the obvious advantages of joining the live event is that you have the opportunity to interact directly with your presenter, and I know that Dave is looking forward to that as well. If you happen to have some questions as we go along, again, if you look over to the right, you'll see an area where you can kind of type your question in, and we'll be able to deal with those during the Q&A as well. Other than that, we should be in, I think, pretty good shape. And let me just take a moment for those of you who have not had a chance to get to hear Dave. He's been on a number of our six-figure calls with me, I'm happy to say, over the years. But I'm delighted that he's had an opportunity to really focus on a subject that I know is of interest to everyone. But for those of you who aren't familiar with his background, Dave Dart is the Managing Director at Morrissey Dart Group, which is an executive recruiting and coaching firm and a Management Recruiters International affiliate office located in Naples, Florida. With an international network of more than 1,000 offices and more than 4,000 recruiters to call upon, the Morrissey Dart Group is capable of spanning multiple industries as well as functional responsibilities. In terms of Dave's personal background, he began his recruiting career in 1999 after finding himself in transition, searching for a new career, and unprepared for the roadblocks that faced him. Frustrated by the process of dealing with recruiters, job boards, networking meetings, resume writing, and rejection, Dave chose to become a recruiter, determined to learn and, more importantly, to share, which he certainly has done.
You may need to hound is we're on the phone 4 to 5 hours a day. Our contact lists are somewhere between 400 to 600 contacts a week, and we're talking to 200 industry-specific people each and every week. In doing that, what do we get? We get to be the ears for our clients. We get to be the ears for our candidates. We get a pretty solid core understanding of the vision of the CEOs of the companies that we deal with and their upper management team. But on the candidate side, the people that we talk to, we really rely on our candidates to survive. We need to network, and no differently than good candidates need to network, we need to constantly be networking. Information is really the power for the candidates, the clients, and us. It's the sharing of information that makes a difference to the better recruiters. Some basic rules of engagement with a recruiter, and I think this is where we can start to have a little bit of insight and a little impact. This is a question that I get on a regular basis. Well, where do I find them? Where do I find a recruiter that can help me in my search? I am an engineer who makes a widget that does this, that, and the other thing. How do I find a recruiter that can help me do that? Well, one is the people nearest to you. If you're working in a company that makes that particular widget, I will guarantee you there's a recruiter that's talking to the people around you. Find out. Find out who the recruiters are they're calling and what kind of jobs they're talking about. You heard part of that. Avoid the repetitive behavior pattern. It's one of the things that when I say that it's starting 7 sentences with the same word, you probably could have put most of those into one sentence. You're too much about you. Don't be too much about you. When you're writing it, when you're doing a cover letter, you have to put something, what's in it for them. What are they going to gain by taking time to talk to you? And then, by all means, don't write any letter that doesn't have an ask for action.
A question that came in from Michael. It goes back to sort of the beginning when you said you were talking about what gets your attention and what doesn't. He wondered if you could just give a quick example of something which immediately might get your attention and maybe an example of something where it would turn you off immediately.
Well, I'll start with the one that turns me off immediately, and that's a note or a letter that claims to be all things to all people. None of us are. Nothing. I mean, I get 50 of those a day, and they all look the same, and they all look like they were written by the same person, and they just go through, and they're all about there's nothing there of substance. It's just I can do this, and it's just I don't have time for it. But on the contrary, let's take our document management desk, which if you think about it, the companies that print your bank statements, I prefer to say your junk mail, but someone comes to us with a 30-year career in document management and imaging. All right, you open up with something like that, you've got my interest pretty quickly. Or if it's a senior exec with a particular skill set asking for help, I need a little help. Can you help me with this? I'm going to read at least and see what the help is they're looking for. So I take well to someone entering politely and asking for help.